Hello, everyone. It's Charlton. So there was a raid on a compound, is what it's called, in New Mexico, a small town in New Mexico on Friday in the town of Amalia, which is right at the New Mexico-Colorado border. It's about 140 miles north of Albuquerque. I'm not positive if I have that right or not. So the raid on the compound, they found 11 children there, ages 1 to 15. And initially, it was an armed standoff with one of the two men. They arrested two men there. The investigation was with the Taos County Sheriff's Office and two other agencies. I think the FBI and another agency. The search stemmed from an investigation involving Taos County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and Clayton County, Georgia, authorities said. Hogreif said in a statement. Hogreif is the Taos County Sheriff, I believe. Taos County Sheriff Jerry Hogreif, and he was actually surveilling this compound on Thursday, based on, I think, a tip that a child they were looking for who was from Georgia, abducted from Georgia, might be in the compound. And when he was surveilling there, he received a message from somebody, I think a fellow law enforcement person, of a message between two women at this compound saying all the kids are starving and they have no water. Something like that. It's in the report. Hopefully I'll get to it. So at that point, he got a search warrant to raid the compound. They did on Friday. One of the two individuals, I think, had a fair amount of weapons and may have, initially resisted, but eventually gave up. Just kind of paraphrasing now, and I'll go through the details in a second. It's bizarre, though, and what the compound, I tried to find it. Like, on the map, this picture of the compound that they have here, but that looks very temporary. So I don't even know that would show up on Google Maps. It probably would not. And I wasn't able to find it anyways. This is the town here, but you would think, because it's such a there's not a lot of, it's a small community, it looks like. It's very spread out, and, I thought I might be able to find it. I wasn't able to, but, it's a lot of farm properties and so forth. But, let me just kind of start at the beginning of this story. I don't know what the compound was set up for, if it's human trafficking or I don't know. I really don't. And so it says law enforcement officers searching a rural North Mexico compound for a missing 3-year-old boy didn't locate him, but found 11 other children in filthy conditions and hardly any food. The children, ranging from 1 to 15, were removed from the compound in a small community of Amalia, New Mexico, that turned over to state child welfare workers, Taos County Sheriff Jerry Hogreif said. The two men were arrested during the search. They were arrested, and this person, the two arrested, Siraj Wahaj, and he was arrested on child abduction, I believe. One of the men, a 39-year-old Siraj Wahaj, was jailed on a Georgia warrant alleging child abduction, while the other man, identified as Lucas Morton, was arrested on suspicion of harboring a fugitive. And this is Lucas Warrant. But the 3-year-old boy that they were looking for, his last name is Wahaj, the same as this. And they don't say whether or not they're related. They identify him as A.G. Wahaj. I think that A.G. is a law enforcement preface, an acronym that I'm not familiar with. I don't know what that stands for. But in any event, let me continue. One of the men, 39-year-old Siraj Wahaj, was jailed on a Georgia warrant alleging child abduction, while the other was Lucas Morton, like I just said, were arrested on suspicion of harboring a fugitive. Online records, court records checked Saturday, didn't list defense attorneys who could comment on behalf of the men. That's why I thought it was Saturday. But the raid was Friday. The search stemmed from an investigation involving Taos County Sheriff's Office, the FBI, and Clayton County, Georgia authorities. That sheriff, to the best of my knowledge, he's the one who was surveilling the property, Jerry Hogreif. Amalia is 145 miles northeast of Albuquerque in an isolated high desert area near the New Mexico, Colorado border. Hargreave said authorities had conducted surveillance on the compound while looking for the missing boy before he decided Thursday to get a search warrant immediately after a Georgia investigator forwarded a message in which someone at the compound reportedly told another person at the that people at the compound were starving and needed water, because there was 2 women that were detained at the compound as well. They were released pending further investigation. So Hargreave said the search did not turn up the missing boy, identified by the sheriff as A.G. Wahaj, but the investigators had no reason to believe the boy had been at the compound fairly. But investigators had reason to believe. Excuse me, my reading's terrible. The boy had been at the compound fairly recently. It's not clear whether the boy and Suraj Wahaj are related. There were no injuries during the search, the sheriff said, but Wahaj and Morton initially refused to follow commands, and Wahaj, this dude, and Wahaj was armed with a rifle and 4 handguns, Hargreave said. There was little food in the compound, which consisted of a small trailer buried in the ground and covered by plastic with no water, plumbing, and electricity, he said. So they had a trailer. I don't know if that's completely buried under the ground or what, or if that's the trailer that's partially sticking out of the ground. I don't know. I mean, it looks like it's covered there. It's hard to tell, It's obviously pretty crazy. I think I made a picture, or I downloaded a picture of it to get a better look of it. And that looks like it's covered with some giant tarp or something, but I have no idea. I mean, it's very difficult to tell, and again, I was not able to find it on the map. I honestly don't think that seems fairly, temporary, like that was done recently. I doubt that would show up on Google Maps just yet, but I have no idea. Let me continue. The only food we saw were a few potatoes and a box of rice in a filthy trailer. That's where the adults and children appeared like, quote, refugees, not only with no food or fresh water, but with no shoes, personal hygiene, and basically dirty rags for clothing. The sheriff said, we gave all the kids our water and what snacks we had. It was the saddest living conditions and poverty I've seen. So it says the adults and children. Are they, I don't know. Are they referring to the two men that were arrested and the 2 women that were initially detained? Maybe. I think they are. I just realized that right now. So that is pretty much the whole story. It's pretty. There's actually there's a couple pictures of the like a picture of the outside surrounding the trailer, and I believe this is inside. But you could see out the window there. I don't know. I don't know that that's the trailer that was buried underground or what, And there's a mound here of dirt as well, right there. I don't know what that is either. It's pretty crazy, and that's pretty much the story there. It is. All right. Well, thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. There's a video. I'm sorry. There's a video here, but it's basically just the pictures of. I think that's the 3-year-old boy that's missing that they did not recover. I mean, I'm just assuming that that's what that is. So, all right, that's the story there for now. Thanks for watching my videos. Please subscribe to my channel. Give me a like down below. I will see you in the next video. Later, man.